Hello, pit boys and girls. Today we're gonna play a game that's very close to my heart. It's called Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, the director's cut. I actually played this game when it first got released years and years ago. I basically grew up playing point-and-click adventure games, so I'm going to take us through the first little bit of this game. New game.
Paris, city of love, romance and dreams. So they say. I used to say it too, but ever since that day, the day of the murder, I've always associated my beloved Paris with death.
It's a conspiracy, folks.
It's just a gargoyle. Beautiful hand-drawn animations. Okay, what's gonna happen? This is like the time before time when all the credits had to be before a thing instead of at the end.
I was at home having a bath when my editor called.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royale now. You got
do
an
not
interview
sound French.
with Pierre Carchon. Yes, the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, this could be big, so if
'Cause
he
I'm
makes a pass,
out.
don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
So charming and so very apt. Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe. He and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty. Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away.
He's got shifty eyes.
Here I was, the palace of the media king and the ice queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which would change my life forever.
Yeah, he's
Yes?
clearly
What
looking
is
a bit
it?
upset.
Madame, my name is Nico Collard. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her reputation.
Because she knows what he does. That's...
Will you be staying for the interview?
Mademoiselle, I know little of my husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty. You're too kind, Madame.
That was kind
The
of a bad kind of
talented
compliment.
and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre, please. But I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father, he never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So tragic. I must... Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again. Another Ming vase, I suppose.
Oh, you know,
Excuse me for one moment, my dear girl.
just a Ming vase.
You
Nothing
journalists are
valuable.
getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, Madame.
Oh. Shots fired.
That
And
was
real
no
shots fired.
cat. God, what? Monsieur Carchon!
Yeah, you were pretty stupid. Come over here. I am the mime, the creepy mime, standing over a dead body.
He's dead. I must call the police. You'd better stay here.
There was a man. It was the mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
I don't know.
No
when you're
wonder
around.
they called her the Ice Queen. She would have been top of my list of suspects if I hadn't seen the attacker myself. And if
Maybe
I
it was
hadn't
still
come
her
across a couple of murders
in the
just like this
mine.
already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Coulard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own investigation?
Well, clearly, let's contaminate
It
the
was a
crime scene.
no-brainer.
The cops are stupid. They won't find everything anyway.
Mimes and guns don't usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime. I'd come across this murderer before, and written about him. The costume killer.
killer.
At least that's what I'd called him.
Oh, I'm sure he liked
It was
that.
one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. It must have fallen when I was knocked down. Some people hate searching corpses for clues. Me, I'm okay with it. Reminds me of an old boyfriend.
I don't even want to know.
In his pocket, I found a ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. Taking the ticket meant I tampered with the evidence. There was no going back now.
The moment you touched his
Carchon
body...
had been shot.
Yeah, nothing else here.
The bookcase was filled with
I don't care about obscure first editions.
a small round piece of glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job.
If it was a professional job, he would have cut closer to the door.
A bust of Pierre Carchon, humble servant of La France.
Yeah, a little bit of a narcissist, if you ask me.
The killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
You know, like any good adventure game.
The police... Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them.
Just look at this, and this, and this.
I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful. Even my fingernail wouldn't fit into such a small hole.
But perhaps... a bobby pin?
Aha! Nico, you are just so damn good at this stuff. Instead of comforting Imelda, I was ransacking her flat. Why? Because there was something going on here, and I had to get answers before the cops arrived. And hey, she'd been rude to me, so she had it coming.
That's the first point. Let's just pop that closed. Can I go into this other room? Probably not.
The door was locked.
Wait, there's two things to look at there? Okay, that's the one. What's that one?
A magnificent antique table.
I don't care about the table.
It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine.
Really strong blue.
Just the color I was after for my bathroom.
I'm sorry, I have to go. Someone is...
Young lady, what are you doing? Oh, this
Stealing your
paint.
paint.
It's my favorite color.
For God's sake, keep the damn stuff.
Well, at least
Imelda
you
had
gave me
talent,
permission.
but I certainly wasn't going to tell her that. A medieval pageant. Original, no doubt. The tapestry must have cost a fortune.
I wonder if I can just, like... pick that lock. Pick all
It
the-
was going to take more.
If you had real skill, you'd be able to get in there. Okay, yeah, there's definitely nothing else to do, yeah. Let's just go have a little conversation. Bitch, what do you know about Pete?
Excuse me, madame.
What do you know about Pete?
Yes?
I
The
got
last
this
thing she
Pete,
needed to talk about was paint.
but I want to know about Pete.
Imelda might not have been so cool with me poking around if I'd shown her the key I'd found.
Or maybe that key
You're
will let me in.
upset, madame. Please take this.
That is the lace cloth from the table. What can you be thinking?
Thought it sucks up tears as good as anything else.
So, her husband took secret boat trips. Did she really need to see the ticket?
Yeah, because she doesn't already.
Would you
hate
like
him.
to see my favorite hair clip?
What a ridiculous question. Of course not.
Huh?
Wow.
Another time, I guess. I am so sorry for your loss, madame.
No, you're not. You're a journalist. Journalists don't feel sorry.
Not true.
We shall see.
Why did your husband send for me? What did he want to discuss?
I have no
Boobs.
idea. His business was his business.
He never
Mostly
told you
boobs.
anything.
No, and frankly, I preferred it that way.
How did your husband know my father?
I have no idea.
You didn't know him? Thierry Collard.
Pierre knew a lot of people I didn't know, most of them women.
Why would a
Wow.
mime want to kill your husband?
Pierre had plenty of enemies. Half the husbands in Paris for a start. This is quite a scoop for you. I suppose you're already inventing the headlines.
Just because I am a journalist.
Don't patronize me.
The silent
We're all
murder.
cut from the same cloth. Do you have any moral sense at all?
Yes, that's why I do this job.
You do it to see your name in print.
As if. My editor gets the byline, I just do the work.
Well, don't expect my
Oh.
sympathy.
The police will be here soon, madame. Is there anybody you would like me to contact? Family, friends?
No, I have no family. Pierre and I were... He was all I had, really. Not much, was it? The dutiful wife. That was my role. He never talked, never let me in.
I know one thing, madame.
What?
If you want to find out who killed your husband, then you let me do the job, not the police.
Why? How do I know I can trust you?
Your husband invited me here today because he needed me. I think he knew somebody wanted to kill him, and he knew I could help.
I doubt it was your database he was after.
You're wrong.
I don't know.
was onto his killers
Depends
already,
what-
I am sure of it. Please, you owe it to him.
I don't know.
All I need is a few more minutes to look around before the police come.
You really do have a moral sense, don't you? I trust so few people. And perhaps Pierre really did think that you could help. Of course it wouldn't have stopped him seducing you, too. Here, take this. It's the key to the drawing room next to
Yes!
the library at the end of the hall. It was Pierre's room. I rarely went in there. I couldn't. I was too scared of what I might find.
Thank you. I promise you won't regret this.
Let's go poke around, poker. I guess that's what the kids are calling it now. Poking around your database. If you know what I mean. Select star from. Click.
Now we were getting somewhere.
We got into the library, but that's not where the murder happened.
As expected, the desk was yet another priceless antique. Yawn. The blotter and in tray had clearly been placed with mathematical precision. My heart skipped a beat. It was a carved elephant. But not just any carved elephant. It had been made by my father. I knew for certain because in my apartment I had its exact twin, carved into a box he had made. So Carchon had known my father. They really must have been friends. I decided to take the carved elephant. It clearly meant nothing to Imelda.
Bitch didn't need this.
I didn't need a sheet of blotting paper. Not while it was blank. I didn't want to take the tray, but I knew that I could use it.
Let's first see what's behind the painting. Everybody hides stuff
The
behind.
painting showed the Carchons together, in love. As the poet said, the past is a different country. Or did I read that in a fortune cookie? There
Why
was
not
the
both?
very faintest of clicks. I didn't need the lights on. It was light enough already.
Let's take a nap.
This wasn't the time for me to lie on the sofa doing my Marie Antoinette impression. Though
But
it is very popular at
tired.
parties, especially with gay guys. Don't ask me why.
But where? See, nothing here is changed.
I didn't want...
Okay. Oh, I pushed the button and then I... Yay!
Behind the picture was a safe.
Does this fit in the slot? Why have a combination?
In the safe was some
And
kind of
a key?
artifact.
If they
There were
don't need to be used in
strange
conjunction.
symbols on its surface. It looked like the printer's blocks I'd made at art school. If there was one thing I'd learned about symbols, they are always important. But these symbols scratched into stone were impossible to read. I needed to find a way of printing them. At least the stone was round. But what could I use for ink? And what could I print on? Sure, I was stealing, but I knew Imelda didn't know about the artifact, and Carchon was past caring.
I actually forgot how much they actually explained how to play the game. Jeez. I could have figured out I could use the paint. Yeah, actually.
I didn't need it.
Let's put that in there.
I'd spread blue paint over the bottom of the tray. It was ruined. I was a very bad, bad girl, but
Oh la
also
la.
quite a clever one.
Let's run this priceless artifact as well.
I rolled the artifact in the paint until it was completely coated.
Yes.
Genius! The roller and the paint worked just as I planned.
I can't believe
But
how
what
much
did it
they
say?
explained.
It was some kind of coded message. It read,
SDSSDSS.
subjudice. I may not have learned a lot as a journalist, but that was a term I knew well. It means a legal case that is before the courts. Below it was a sequence of letters that made no sense.
Till we get the
I
puzzle
suddenly
that fits
realized
them.
there was a connection between the boat ticket and the coded message. The boat ticket was stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. The conciergerie on the Ile de la Cité, by the river, housed the ancient law courts. So, subjudice could in this case mean literally under the law courts, below the conciergerie. I was pretty sure I'd found all I could here. And besides, all this opulence was making me pine for my regular life of poverty. This was a huge story. It was also one heck of a puzzle with a lot of pieces missing. But I was going to crack it. And if I could just remember the name of that fancy prize you get for being an ace journalist, I was definitely going to win it this time.
If you can't even remember the name of it, jeez. It's called a Pulitzer Prize. And
Locked.
you're an
Not
idiot.
surprising, really.
Okay, let's run away. Let's run away before anyone notices we were even here. We'll probably be back to rob her blind. Rob her more blind. Don't say goodbye, just keep walking, just keep walking. Wait, use the phone. Let's call the editor. Say,
There was no one I needed to phone. Not until I had solved this case.
but your story's dead. You have to tell the editor. Sorry,
I
boss.
couldn't leave without saying...
Fine. I was just gonna sneak out and be like, oh, sorry, I didn't
Did
see
you find
sitting
anything
there.
useful?
This carving. Do you know anything about it?
It was Pierre's. What does the statue have to do with...
Please, I need to know.
He was given it by a friend. Something to do with Africa.
He never explained any more.
No. But I think it was important to him. Always on display. Why?
It was carved by my father.
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
Imelda, I will do everything I can to find the killer.
Thank you, my dear.
And if the police ask,
Don't worry. You were never here.
sub judice was the key. I was going to have to find a way under the conciergerie. I decided to head straight for the quayside on the Ile de la Cité. If there was a way of getting under the conciergerie, it would have to be from there.
Phew.
Canchon wasn't the type for messing about on the river. He was up to something down here. Something that got him killed.
You know what, folks? I actually think I'm going to stream this entire game this weekend because it is actually that good a game. When they don't explain absolutely all the puzzles to you word by word, holding your hand like a small child. But till then, keep it real. So remember, please give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, and if you can, why don't you hit subscribe now?